My lords, it's a great pleasure to follow the noble Lady Baroness Finlay of Llandaff, and her, as always, expert contribution, which has certainly made me think again about that amendment. I put my name down in this group chiefly to speak to Amendment 27 in the name of the Right Reverend Prelate, the Lord Bishop of St Albans, also signed by the noble Lord Seeker and myself. And I think the reasons for this amendment have been very broadly canvassed, also particularly notably by the noble Lord Foster of Bath, well known for the Peers for Gambling Reform, which I've been recently very pleased to join. I don't feel like I need to make the case for this again, but I do think there's a useful reflection to be made, drawing also on what the noble Lady Baroness Finlay just said. And sharing the frustration of the noble Lord Addington about how what we're seeing in this group of apparently disparate amendments, a real problem with our nature of our lawmaking, the difficulty of making progress. What we have here, and we had indeed earlier with the Sharia compliant student loan issue, is apparently reasonably small, easily fixed issues on which some very expert, very knowledgeable, extremely capable people have spent years and years working without progress being made. I think this also particularly applies here to Amendment 16 in the name of the noble Lady Baroness Meacher. Something that clearly needs to be tackled, needs to be dealt with, apparently looks simple. We need to see the regulation and the oversight. We need to see protection. And yet it's not happening. And in the interstices of what has been a rather hectic day for me, I was looking at the Law Society briefing for the National Security and Investment Bill that's coming up tomorrow. And in that, the Law Society, of course, is not doesn't have any party political issues to raise, is simply looking at the bill and saying there's huge problems here, we're creating problems. So we're not seeing somehow in our legislative process ways in which issues are identified, as the noble Lord Buncott, with commendable frankness, earlier identified his role in terms of the issue that arises with Amendment 37C here. Somehow things are not coming together and delivering us workable laws. And I think we really need to think as a House, as a society, about how we end up getting more workable laws. And I respectfully suggest that what we need is more cooperation, more listening, more input at the early stages, rather than a sudden decision by the government to do something, which then results in a bill. So I understand that we're not sure we'll have any votes on any of these amendments, but what we clearly need is action. And I commend the need for action on all of these, particularly Amendment 27 to protect vulnerable people, to your Lordship's House. Thank you, my Lords.